Now the work begins, now the fun begins. What makes you so proud here of this group to get this far?
Well, it's not just about getting here. It's about now, taking advantage of the opportunity. So, our guys have worked real hard to earn the opportunity, and they've done that. That page flips pretty quick now to the job at hand.
What have you learned about 3 games this season against Colorado?
Well, I mean, they're a hell of a team, obviously, right? I mean, if you look at, you judge things by the second half of the year. I mean, they won the conference for a reason. They've been the best team out west in the second half of the year for sure. They've done it through some trying times with, different challenges. They're a team with star power and depth. Specialty teams and goaltending have been excellent especially through that stretch of the second half. So that's we've got a task at hand.
Nothing like making you wait till the last minute last night, by the way.
Yeah, most of the Western Conference was wait and see who their opponents were going to be. That just shows how tight the league has been. And how tight, the Western Conference has been all the way through. So, the matchups are set now, and it's, hey, let's go from here.
You guys are going in early Monday, because I know altitude, the guys mentioned, can be an issue, so you'll have 2 full days to kind of acclimate in that regard.
Yeah, it's not about acclimating. I actually want to get in there as late as we possibly can.
What is that?
Just for prep?
No, that sets us up. We've looked at different things, so we'll get in there. We're not going a day early. We're not doing any of that. We're going to get our prep work done here, get on the plane, and get in there later on Monday afternoon.
Was today a maintenance day for Sprong?
For Sprong, he's out day to day.
What Schultz?
For Schultz, today was a maintenance day.
What do you anticipate your game 1 goaltender being?
Guys, I'm not going to talk about any of that. You can count on very little on injuries. You can count on very little on lineup. So, and I'm just prefacing that so that nobody's feelings are hurt as we go forward. That's just how it is at this time of year.
Did you mention the second half of the season? You guys struggled against playoff teams in the second half of the season.
I'd actually disagree. I mean, we're 500 against Western Conference playoff teams throughout the year. Obviously, you got to be one step better than that as you go through the playoffs to win a playoff series. But we're pretty confident, in our ability to compete with anybody.
What do you think has to be better about your game in the playoffs versus what you did?
We don't have to change a whole lot. We got to be the best version of ourselves. There's not a whole lot that we're going to change. You're not going to change who you are at this time of year. You have to be really good at what you do, and you got to do it for the entire hockey game. And regardless of the result of that night's game, you got to quickly turn the page, flip the switch, and move on to the next one. And our group has been pretty good at that. We've been pretty efficient in being able to do that from one night to the next.
Steve, to that point, when you have the opportunity to see the same team up to 7 times in a row, are there opportunities from a coaching perspective as you see them again and again?
You just make adjustments. Everybody's going to put a ton of preparation and pre-scout work into game 1. And then as you get into that first period, second period, or, for sure into game 2, you start making adjustments very quickly from there. And you have to be able to do that.
How much of a factor is last change in the line matching battle, especially if you have start now?
It's a little different, depending on, with every matchup that you end up in. For us, we have an idea, obviously, going in on the road, what our rotations are going to be. We're not going to control those matchups, in the first 2 games. So, for us, it's more about our rhythm and how we want to, go about things.
Are there any lessons that you can take personally from your previous trips with Toronto and Philadelphia and apply them here to Seattle?
Yeah, well, it's every year's a little bit different. Every team's a little bit different. But having a sharp focus, having a real even keel mentality. You don't change who you are again at this time of year. You either have the inner confidence to go into these playoff series and have the focus to go out and perform well, or you don't. I mean, you build that through the year. Now, as you get to this time of year, you just kind of clear the deck, simplify things, and be ready for that first drop of the puck.
Dave, you guys scored more goals 5-on-5 than any team in the league this year. When things tighten up in the playoffs, maybe not as many penalties are called. Can that work in your benefit? Maybe the success you've had in even strength situations throughout the year.
Well, you're going to have to be good in all areas, especially teams. You know, if you look at, you know, for sure first round, specialty teams are going to be a big factor. Sometimes maybe it becomes a little less of a factor as you go through, you know, the subsequent rounds. But, you know, specialty teams will be a part of it. 5-on-5 is a huge part of it. You know, and it's not, you know, the emphasis obviously falls on the goal scoring, but it's, you know, it's what you do to get to that goal scoring. It's how well you check. It's how well you look as a group of 5.
Any ripples on that special teams in case so not seeing, they don't know exactly what to expect when you start game one? Are you going to modify anything at all, or stick with what brought you?
Well, we are what we are. You know, there's a little different. I mean, you probably don't see it, you know, in plain sight, but I mean, there's a little different wrinkle most nights. So, you know, but again, at this time of year, there's not much hidden from, you know, from anybody. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. You know, everybody's going to do a little bit. You know, they're going to have adjustments and you know, things that you try to attack in a different way. But you know, for the most part, again, like, you know, we do the things that we do and we do them well.
How's the extra day before the start of the series affect you?
I don't know that it affects us. It gives us one extra day of practice. You know, we'd be, if we were, you know, the other outcome that we would have had would be going to Dallas. We'd be on a plane right now. So obviously the timing is a little bit different. It gives us you know, the luxury of one extra day of practice, which for us, you know, I like the fact that we have that extra day of practice and then a travel day in there.
For a team that's in the playoffs for the first time, how important is it to have some veteran guys in your locker room to kind of smooth it out?
Yeah, that's the fact, right? It's the first time this group has been in the playoffs together. Yet, you know, if you look at the experience in our room that we have to fall back on, it's significant. It's deep, and that's something that we feel is a real strength that we can harness as we go into game one.
It's not your first rodeo, Hack, but how excited are you personally?
Oh, this time of year is, I mean, this is where you want to be, right? I mean, you work 82 games, you know, as a group to be in this spot. So I'm excited for our players. I'm proud of the job that they've done from day one. Everything that we've, you know, been able to accomplish through the regular season has come from them within the dressing room. So now, you know, you flip the switch to this time of year. You know, you reach goal number 1, and that's to be part of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now it's having them, you know, the mental state and the presence to go out and take advantage of that opportunity.
How do you measure what Ruby has done, what Jonesy has done, and the belief that these guys have in them from what you've seen throughout the entire year?
Plain and simple, we're a playoff team. So that means that's not an easy feat. I just talked about it. It's not easy to be one of the 16 teams that's in the National Hockey League playoffs, and those two guys are a huge part of what has helped us get here.
Good. Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. You got it. Thank you.
Have a good day. Probably 2 practices in a row.
Probably.
What about you?
Training camp, probably. Yeah, no, it's been a while.
Touching on the Dunn-Larson pairing, the difference that they've made so far and the minutes that they've logged here for this season, how much have they led here as far as this group's success, especially later in the season?
Well, they obviously their minutes, the minutes have been pretty high all year. They share a lot of some of those minutes against other teams' top groups. They share that a little bit with Will and with Rig. But as a pair, they've been together now. They've been able to grow a little chemistry, know each other pretty well, communicate really well, and they've done a good job for us.
Are there specific items these last couple of days that you've really been trying to focus on cleaning up or improve?
Yeah, we've just hit a couple elements every day. I mean, you can only do so much. Biggest thing is to make sure we have pace, and then we've tried to pick a couple of different elements each day just to touch on.
And now that you're obviously going to be playing the same opponent several games in a row, have you changed the approach just a little bit in practice to really be focused on that team as opposed to during the regular season?
Really, we've spent time on ourselves. That's we've had such little practice time. over the last month that we've spent a lot of time on ourselves here. Just the areas that over the last month we've been looking at cleaning up on video and in different ways. We've had a chance to touch on those in practice. And like I said yesterday, we're not reinventing anything. There's nothing new. It's a matter of cleaning up a couple things. Putting a point of emphasis on a couple of things that might pertain to the series, but there's nothing new for our guys.
Dave, with their active D, they're so effective on the breakout, the Avalanche are. What are the keys to the Kraken game to counter that?
Well, those guys on the back end skate extremely well. They're involved in the play, in a 200-foot sense. Whether it's off of the breakout and the rush, or in the offensive zone, they're very active and very talented. It's an extremely talented group. So part of that, starts with our forecheck. They're a tough group to contain, but it starts there for sure. And then obviously there's a lot more to it as you go 200 feet.
Yesterday you mentioned wanting to get to Colorado as late as possible. Was getting the practice in here today a part of that? There was no reason for us to go 2 days early. There's no benefit to it for game one. So we were on a regular travel schedule. And we're on a schedule that is best for us, that's worked throughout the year. Again, every team is a little bit different in the rhythm, in their practice rhythm, and how they want to lead into a game day. So we're setting up our schedule to be most effective for us.
Goaltending can be such a difference maker in the postseason. How would you sort of summarize the play of both of your goalies throughout the season to this point?
Just what I said yesterday. These guys are, we're a playoff team. They're as equal of a part to that success as any other area of our team. So, there's a real focus and spotlight, on certain areas coming into playoffs. Certainly, goaltending is one of them. We're very comfortable with our two guys.
Good.
Okay, we're good there.
All right. See you in Colorado.
Yes.